Over the past few weeks, we have focused on a 360-degree perspective in the world of digital security. From securing supply chains to edge security to resilience, our multi-part podcast series has been committed to helping you design the very best in digital security for your enterprise. In this episode, we are joined back by Ripu Bajwa, Director and General Manager for Data Protection Solutions at Dell Technologies India. Hey Ripu, welcome back.
Hi, Ashwin. Great to be back.
Thank you. Let's talk about cyber recovery, right? Now, with the increasing number of cyber incidents, um, how are you advising? Like, what are the measures that organizations should be taking to improve their, posture when it comes to cyber recovery?
Yeah, with the current spate of increasing number of incidents, we have seen a lot of organizations look at their recovery posture, and within that, looking at key metrics, key critical data sets, applications, workflow, maybe even critical users, and classifying the most critical data that they need to be ready for, even in case of a cyber incident or an attack. They need to plan to see that these users and this data type is always available no matter what. So classifying and identifying those very crown jewels and crown users are very, very critical, be it any industry vertical. We have seen that happening across a board of applications. People have started looking at their the DNS servers, the Active Directories, their most critical core IP data on which their business resides, and definitely securing that from a good, better, best perspective is critical. When I say good, better, best, there are technology elements which can help you safeguard these from normal attacks, normal threats, and if you can look at a next step, which is uh, the better, which is having resiliency built at all levels. And the best is when you really look at creating a vault and an air gapped automated vault where you keep these crown jewels and scan them for the detection of the malware in time. And not just that, you are able to go back in time and pick the gold copy and be able to restore that gold copy into clean area. And this can be done after the attack or even before the attack surfaces. So that's the beauty about the solution that we are now taking as a best solution, the good, better, best story, which is our solution offering on cyber recovery to our customers, helps them plan this as a journey on modernizing not just the data protection landscape, but overall their entire business and enhances the business resiliency against the new set of attacks.
Lovely. Let's talk about the good, better, best, and obviously enterprises want the very best. Ripu, from the Dell perspective, how is Dell really helping organizations in shortening the recovery window and really helping them come back on their feet in the quickest possible time? So, talk to us about the best practices in across industry verticals, please.
Absolutely, Ashwin. So we've been seeing how companies are battling, and we are helping them come out in the remediation zone and making them recover fast in case of an incident. We are able to build the entire information sets again. Of course, the data is always secure in the platform that we provide, but access to it can be sometimes because of the catalog servers or the media servers sprawl that is there in the organization and the way the organization has really implemented the BCP-DR practices. This can vary from organization to organization. And that is why it is very critical to actually do the cyber drills to know what data you can recover in what time in case of an attack. Have those run books, make sure that people are aware what needs to be done in case of a full attack. And the good, better, best, as I started with, it makes sense to start looking at hardening at all your backups, making sure that the resiliency is built into the platforms from where you're going to recover the data sets. You also need to look at your recovery SLAs when it comes to your critical information. You may be having a lot of infrastructure to keep your data safe from a backup and operational recovery perspective. But when it comes to cyber recovery, you need to look at an aspect called where I have to keep data in an isolated manner for a recovery perspective. Because if it's in a connected environment, it is liable to get also be taken down, just like your production and your backup information sets. Recovery from corrupted landscape can be very tedious, can be time consuming, and that's why quick windows of recovery are very critical. And therefore, having a vault, which is an air-gapped scenario for your critical information to be kept there, periodically being checked, brought there over the opening the air gap, making sure that it is locked in the vault from a copy perspective, and then checking using a very sophisticated AIML tool for fast scanning to make sure that you can detect that malware very fast. These technologies have been implemented across many organizations, across verticals, and they have really now, proving very, very vital when it comes to securing yourself from these sophisticated attacks. It is also very important that you also test from your recovery environment, your critical application. So you're creating not just a vault, but you're creating an environment where in case you have an incident, you want to actually start running from that vault, you are able to do it because you want to get back to business without any impact, without any dent to your reputation. Hence, the good, better, best story, where the best is typically have a vault for your most critical data sets, is absolutely a call of the hour. You need to look at that 20-30% of your data which needs to start going into the vault, where it has to be scanned on a daily basis, so that you are now checking for the malware for that for those data sets, and making sure that in case something is detected, you are able to bounce back in no time. This overall is implemented using a whole lot of services and the experience that we brought to the table, the information sharing that we use across the not just the hardware elements, but overall the infrastructure that we have been maintaining for our customers. That really becomes very, very useful. Mostly, it is always the people, process, and technology. All three have to work together, and we have certain best practices which bring to the table in case of a full attack. How do we really bounce back in no time for our customers? Make sure that they don't lose their critical data sets. And this overall proposition is not just all about just cyber resiliency. It's all about business resiliency, where you can go back to your businesses and say, hey, today we have looked at the critical elements. We have looked at not just hardening, but also protecting against a sophisticated attack, because now we are ready. Even if the cyber attack happens, we know when and how we have to come back. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Ripu. It has been an absolutely insightful chat today and through this entire podcast series, where you really educated us and helped us understand as to the various practices that are prevalent and the newest thinking in the world of cybersecurity, and how enterprises should be thinking to ensure that their, as you'd like to put it, their crown jewels are kept safe. And this is something that every enterprise and everybody who's listening should take into cognizance, whether it's a small enterprise, it's a small business or a large enterprise. Maintaining the security of your data is paramount in this digital-centric world. And Ripu, your insights have been delightful and informative. Thank you so much again for joining us in this multi-part podcast series. And I look forward to engaging with you as we go down the series. Thank you again.
Thanks, Ashwin.